Banks are just repeating endlessly, and it was crazy. But yeah, I would say that for anybody who wants to investigate porting or get into porting or do porting, that having some familiarity with compiling software and developing software and running software is definitely going to make it a lot easier. All these cool people who worked on this game.
They randomized whose name should
Yeah. Yeah, so they had like a kind of a little variable in there that's just randomly set between 0 and 1, and if it's one way, Tim's name will show first. If it's the other way, Dave's name will show first. But the variable was called like brains before beauty, or age before beauty, or beauty before age, or something like that. I don't know who's older, actually, out of Dave and Tim. It's probably Dave, I guess? Maybe? I don't know. Dave will hear that, and he'll be all like, "How old do you think I am?" So this game is 23 years old. I didn't play it when I didn't play it the year that it came out, but yeah, I played it a couple of years later. The internet still wasn't a thing, so I had to play through it without walkthroughs and without being able to talk to anyone else who played it before. It was an exciting experience. And you hadn't played it before you started testing, right?
Okay, we'll spread out commando style. Laverne,
really
you go
it
secure the
originally.
area
I mean,
behind those double doors. Hoagie, you take care of
look at it once,
upstairs
but I don't think I
reconnaissance.
really-
I'll maintain
okay.
Command HQ here, in the lobby.
What are we looking for?
We've got to find where Dr. Fred is holding the tentacles.
This better not take too long. I've got an anatomy final tomorrow.
And I've got a show to set up later tonight. If I'm late, I don't get to test the drums.
Good old Hoagie.
If I know Dr. Fred, he's got the tentacles tied up in his secret lab. Question is, where's his secret lab?
That is the question. So, one of the things that we had early on, because this is based on the Mac port, was we had this control screen, but we didn't have these control screens. I'm not entirely certain why they're not present in the Mac version, but I didn't even know they existed. And it wasn't until after we went into testing that someone went, "Hey, on Windows, these are present." And so I had to dig in and work out where they came from and where they had to go to, and yeah, it's an interesting little problem to solve. There's only the PS2 gamepad bindings shown here, displayed in the control screen. Sony sort of paid for the remastered edition, or I don't know. I don't know anything about how money changed hands, but Sony were definitely involved, and porting it to their platforms was the main thing. So I think that's the reason that there's only the one. And it's also cool to have this Maniac Mansion controls reference sheet here as well, because its controls are a little bit more involved than Day of the Tentacle. So yeah. And we can pick up.
It's interesting to think how much of a jump that was from the original text-only games.
Yeah. Maniac Mansion was this huge leap. So this game's like a sequel to Maniac Mansion. I should have reset all the achievements before I started.
Attached to the countertop.
We could talk about achievement stuff, but it's all good. We want a dime here. It's always good to have. Yeah, I kind of wish that the sign was like maybe a little bit see-through and you could see the help wanted text backwards in the window, so that when you went outside you could see what was going on. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcuts to navigate around the place, because that's what I'm used to. I don't really like the verb dial thing.
I kind of wish I knew what the help wanted sign looked like from the outside in the original graphics. Because it just
Oh.
blended in so completely in this version. It's too late.
I can't put it back. Yeah.
Laverne, how'd you get upstairs?
Am I upstairs? I got lost.
Seen any tentacles?
What's a tentacle?
Oh, just something I whipped up in my
So all the music is done with this piece of technology they made back in the early 90s called iMUSE, which allows for like dynamic transitions between music. Because it's all MIDI music, they were able to write algorithms that kind of wrote on the fly these little interstitial transition pieces that allowed for smooth transitions or for delayed notes to happen so that the new piece could start on the right beat and that sort of thing. And that's a really cool piece of tech. Not quite as practical today, where we have live performances that we record and that sort of stuff. But when everything was MIDI
evil, isn't he?
and rendered on the fly, then being able to sequence it up like that was really cool. And some of these this era of LucasArts adventure games have some fantastic music stuff going on because of that. You see that rope moves up a couple pixels? I hate that.
What have you done this time, you meddling milquetoast? Now Purple Tentacle is
That's the other tricky thing about doing a Linux port is it's not quite your job to fix all the cross-platform problems. And you do what you can, you know. If you see something you can do, you do it.
Isn't it a little late for that, Doctor?
But you got to be careful because you'll be shaving yaks pretty quickly if you're not careful.
yesterday through the time machine.
You do some things in a game like this, I suppose. If
This
you
is all
wanted
your
to, but
fault, Bernard.
especially for
Behold, children,
it's
the
like, you just cannot touch
chronogon.
anything.
Doc, can't you just
Yeah.
send
Explains why
Bernard?
maybe Rocket League and stuff
No,
like that.
you
is
must
taking so
all go to increase the odds that one of you will make it there alive.
Have any people ever been hurt in this thing?
Of course not. This is the first time
Oh.
I've ever tried it on people. Well, I'll be.
Bernard, float over here so I can punch you.
This must be that Woodstock place Mom and Dad are always talking about.
I'm still getting all these nice comments from people. It's been, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks after release? 2 weeks tomorrow, I think. 2 weeks the day after tomorrow. Something like that. And I have people
Lived to see yesterday.
like this person right here.
Sure, Dr.
He's,
Fred wouldn't have done this if
he's
it
letting me
wasn't
know
safe.
that they're really happy to
After all, he is a doctor.
to see the game on Linux.
It worked. I
It's really
can't
interesting to see. It's like,
believe it.
you know, like we were saying, the game's been around for 23 years, so
Good enough.
there are people who have got all sorts of nostalgia attached to it. And then there are also people who've never played it before. Some who've never heard of it before, who are having the chance to discover it for the first time. And it's kind of cool to be able to kind of, you know, bring a game that's got all this kind of interesting heritage to it onto a platform that it's never existed on before. So I don't know if you noticed there, but the kumquats were red in the future. I don't think that's the normal thing.
Cheap mail order
Slight
killer.
oversight. I think it was like that in the
Happened to
original.
Hoagie and Laverne.
between the present
I
and the future.
knew I
they
should
were-
have fought a real diamond.
Are they alive?
My dials say that the larger specimen landed 200 years in the past, and the other is stuck 200 years in the future.
Well, hurry up and bring them back.
There was a
I
bug at this
will,
point
as soon as I
where
get
he
the
starts
new
setting up
diamond. Then
the
all
steps
your
for his
buddies
plan,
have to do is
and the music
get
is
in
meant to
there and
increase
take the
speed.
chronogon
each time he says, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3. And there was a bug where the timing that was being read out for the audio cues wasn't right, and there was a 20-minute gap between each time he said step. And because the game sort of waits for those transitional cues to finish, the music hadn't changed, so the game couldn't continue, and it looked like the game had hung, but it was still responding. It was just waiting longer than it should have been.
Now what am I going to do?
Here it comes.
I think I made myself perfectly clear. Step 1, find plan. Step 2, save world. Step 3, get out of my house.
Get out of my house! Alright. And here we are. Now we got control over the stuff. Things are going on in the lab.
It can't do anything without a new diamond.
So sad. Whoop. It's another person who's interested in stuff.
Maybe I put them upstairs.
Where are they?
That's
They're
got
here
to be
somewhere.
it. Upstairs.
Right. So, you can kind of follow Dr. Fred up here. I don't know if many people do. But it kind of reminds me of that bit in Monkey Island where you got to follow the shopkeeper. And I wonder whether or not it was meant to be that kind of thing, but
Dr. Fred?
a red herring. So you can follow him up the stairs.
The plans, the plans.
Their plans. Do 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 do.
Now where did Dr. Fred go?
And he's gone. He's nowhere to be seen. So we don't actually have to be up here. Everything that you need is down in the basement, and I think that puzzle is like, if you stay in the basement, you look around, you solve it immediately. But Dr. Fred's there to kind of lure you out and encourage you to explore a bit. Which is, I don't know, maybe that's mean, maybe that's not mean, but it's interesting. So, here's the thing that we want.
It's Dr. Fred's design for a super battery. It's capable of storing up to 1 gigavolt with a charging time of only 0.01 seconds.
0.01
Wow.
seconds. Wow.
I've got
Yoink.
the plans.
Quick, we have to flush them to Hoagie.
How did you get over there?
My ingenious super battery design, please.
You really flushed them.
Yes!
Yes,
Down the toilet.
No!
no, through time. Using the highly sophisticated time flux hydraulic vortex chamber.
So this was the first LucasArts adventure game to have voice work at the time of release. And it's interesting to see,
Hello.
you know, how the relationship between the writing and the performing. If you look at something like the special edition of Monkey Island 1, there are a bunch of lines, gags generally. I mean, like, humor is timing based, often, like, very, very timing reliant. And so,
Stuck in colonial times, tentacles are taking over the world. And now
so the
toilet
lines were kind of written to be read, if that makes sense. And so what shows up at what point in time during the subtitles is kind of the pacing of the joke, if that makes sense. But then, I mean, Dominic does a great job of voicing Guybrush, and all the other actors who worked on the special edition of Monkey Island did a great job. But the lines just weren't written to be read, or weren't written to be performed, I guess. And I feel like that's noticeable. It's good. The project's still good, but it's noticeable. And Day of the Tentacle doesn't really have that same kind of thing. I think they got through most of development before they decided to do voice as well. But because it was done before release, you know, they had the chance to tune the script a little bit for the actor's performance and make things match up a bit better and that sort of stuff. So I think it
Time
it,
for
sh
me to
it
say
kind of stands out
hello,
as
I
being
guess.
yeah, the first title that the voice work kind of really matched what was going on. So now we're in the past with Hoagie. All the kids are now spread across like 400 years, which is kind of cool. Oh, hang on, I love this line.
It's unplugged.
No.
It's unplugged.
Oh no, we gotta be Bernard. So let's be Bernard. Let's bring up this thing. We're gonna be Bernard.
So as soon as Hoagie gets that battery working, we're set.
I know he totally already said the line that I wanted about being stuck in colonial times and the toilet backing up.
And your friend in the future needs power too, if she's still alive.
Alive?
Alive?
Get me out of here. I like
So she's
trees
stuck in
and
the
everything,
tree
but this
that's
one
behind
has
where
got
Hoagie
to
is.
Go.
Did you make that connection when you were playing it, Nemoder? How long did it take you to work that out?
Wait, to work what?
The tree
There's something in the chronogon.
that you had to cut down the tree to get Laverne out.
I think that was one of those things I just didn't ever try to get her out of the tree. I just happened to do it that way first, and then came back and so I pushed it out of the tree.
Yeah, okay. What's the button? Press the wrong button. So you can use, there are shortcuts for switching between the characters as well, which is nice. And if you bring up the inventory screen and drag and drop something onto a different character, then it'll automatically transfer them to you without you having to walk all the way back to the outhouse and do all the other stuff.
How about an amendment that the president has to
Yeah,
be
that
a
was a new
human
challenge.
being?
Yeah. I don't think that's not documented anywhere in the remastered version.
Right.
I think it was covered in the manual for the original game. Speaking of the original game, I have my original Day of the Tentacle CD here, which is very cool. Those little like meanwhile things, they're kind of geared towards giving players a prompt, it's kind of like a built-in hint system that if you've been taking too long to do stuff, it'll remind you about what it is that you need to be thinking about or whatever it is that you should be doing. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, everybody talks about adventure games being too easy these days, or you know, old adventure games being really hard. But you can, if you look at Ron Gilbert's Why Adventure Games Suck essay, which he wrote while he was doing Monkey Island, and you look at this game, you can see that that adventure games, at least LucasArts adventure games, were on a trajectory to becoming easier, more accessible, fewer dead ends, no deaths, you know, all that kind of stuff was brought in to make to try and make the game more enjoyable by people who didn't want to feel like they were dying all the time. And it's an interesting balance to try and strike, I think. Like, I remember
Hey, that's a
when I played
left-hand
these sorts of
family,
games
girl.
originally, like, I wouldn't finish them in one sitting.
My ungrateful
I would
scrub of a left-handed
I would
son.
take, you know, play half an hour a day or an hour a day and get stuck and leave it and think about what was going on.
What's
And that
It's really a contrast to
help
like,
wanted,
Alice Row.
moronic
The whole
drone.
concept
yeah. I mean, that's like
Well, I'm
that
the
and
only
and
dude
Dragon's Lair are
around.
sort of the real pinnacle of that kind of
So pick up your
fail
laptop
off and learn
get
from
to
your
work.
mistakes type expectation. But I feel like when
This quest.
but those sorts of games when
You
you
were bad about it though, because you couldn't learn from your deaths most of the time. It was
oh
some
yeah
trivial thing that you had to find earlier. It's so frustrating.
yeah Sierra were kind of terrible like that. But when you stop and take breaks, I think that a game has more of a chance to sink in. Like, you've got more chance to absorb the experience that you've had, or to think about the challenges that you're facing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you don't.
I'll give it credit. You know, I still remember those games very clearly, as opposed to a lot of the games I played. Them.
Right.
You do think about it when you're stuck on it.
Yeah, they haunt your dreams, and you think about them in the shower,
I
and
am. Don't get your curls in an uproar.
it's good.
Excuse me, Mr. Washington. Boy, what a mess.
Quest for Glory was like that for me. I just, you know, dream about that game while playing it. It took me a long time to finish it or to get to the end.
I told you guys I'll get to the flag next. I'm working as fast as I can.
Hey, chill. Take your time.
Don't tell me you've got another design
Yeah,
change
looking
for
at
the
the
flag.
bed there, I think it took me a while to get that one sold.
Yeah.
I've got another design change.
I like that they made it so that any,
I knew it. What's the current brainstorm?
just about
about
any
with your
action
founding
aside from
fathers?
look, you know, using that on the bed
I
would.
certainly looked, but I didn't.
We need a babe in a leather bikini swinging a broadaxe.
Came back to it. It's like, oh, I can direct.
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, I feel like
I'd do anything
there's
just to have cover.
one small
Put the tablet on
UI
the
issue
table
with
and I'll look at
the
it when I'm done with this
remastered
job.
edition with regards to the bed upstairs. We'll probably talk about that in a bit, but it's really easy to miss what's going on during that sequence. Oh, there's Max. Max is cool. And over here, these portraits were not visible
These look
much
better on velvet.
in the original game. Like if we go back to the original graphics, like yeah, it's not much going on. But we can see there. You probably can't see on the stream, but if you play it yourself, you'll be able to see a lovely rendition of Jar-Jar Binks in this portrait here, which I'm sure makes many people very, very happy, as Jar-Jar Binks is often, you know, want to do. All right. So see that penguin up in the top corner? I'm just gonna paste a link in chat here. That image I borrowed and expanded based on some of the concept art that was unearthed for the remastered version, and kind of tweaked the calendar to match the release date of the Linux version. Was able to use that to tease the Linux release a little bit. That was really cool. Kind of nice to be able to do a little piece of fan art like that. Textbook sends everyone to sleep, so let's use it with the horse.
The LA
Like how much familiarity with people's denture practices do you need to expect that the glass of water indicates that, you know, he's ready to go to bed? He's got something to put his teeth in.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense after you solve it, but as far as the game goes, it's pretty far out there.
I think if you use the book on other people, it tells them that you don't want to put them to sleep, or that would put them to sleep, or something. So there's that kind of clue there, but you've got to be able to get that the glass is all about, you know, putting people to sleep. I'm gonna go in here. So I'm just zipping through the game. I'm not really trying to, you know, do anything in order of how you would discover it when really playing.
Question is, which one's stuffed and which one's the real McCoy?
I assure you that we are both real, but we are neither one of us McCoys. We are
I spent a lot of time in this room trying to figure out if there's something I was missing.
Who's who?
It's just not that much to
Does
do.
it really matter?
No. It's really only that one interaction is the only thing you can do that's meaningful.
He only knows that one of us is left-handed, while
Some of the
the other
dialogue's
is right,
amusing.
but that neither of us are following in his tiny scientific.
Like I'm the model. Do you want me to take my clothes off?
Hold still, Jed.
But this whole thing, like,
So,
when you switch positions on
too
them, it's
frightened
like
to
I
ask,
had solved all this
Are
before I
you the
even
marble
realized
delivery man?
that was needed for the lesson.
Or the model?
Yeah, and that's the thing about adventure games, is that especially when you've got like a high degree of non-linearity, like at this point, if you look at a puzzle dependency chart, there's a lot of stuff that Hoagie can do right here, and it's possible to finish puzzles before you get the cues that guide you towards understanding them or completing them. I'm the model. Should I take my clothes off now?
Should I take my clothes off now?
No, you most definitely should not.
But anyway, it's cool that you
We
can
couldn't
jump
get your
between
body
characters
shape
and-
right anyway,
and not be
unless
stuck
we
with one
cemented
character
two
until it's
slabs
solved.
of marble
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, that's
But then
something
the
that
statue with the big scene in it.
I mean, most of those kind of adventure games had that where you could leave a room or you could go somewhere else and try and work on something else. But being able to switch between the characters kind of felt a little bit less like admitting defeat, I guess. If that makes sense.
Sorry, hope I haven't jostled.
3 separate puzzles to be solved as opposed to just having to do everything over.
Like when you're in Monkey Island 2 and you got to get all the map pieces, like you can chase all those independently, but it's a bunch of backtracking, it's a bunch of work to get somewhere else if you want to try and pursue a different one. Whereas when you're jumping between the characters, Hoagie will still be here if we switch to Bernard, so it has a kind of different feel about it, I think. But it's also cool to kind of feel that on some levels there are these... The stories are related, but each character kind of has their own story that they're going through, and you can explore those in whichever order you want.
Oh, where hath gone the muse that once guided my hand with such care? Must inspiration be so transitory?
There's so much you can do with each
Must
one.
art be so cruel?
It doesn't depend on the others, so it's a lot of stuff.
In Broken Age is a little bit like that,
Don't say that, Ned.
but there's much less in the way of interconnectedness, particularly in the first half of the game. Yeah, there's less that you need to do before switching.
Dear brother, we must be strong.
How short is
in
that
times of
sword?
Creative adversity. Why don't you let me take over for a while? I'll clean this rubble up and start over. You
Have a
relax.
cappuccino.
Have a cappuccino.
I think he just pulls that out of his backside.
I'm glad we switched places. I think you're coming out quite well.
I like that she looks at it, she acknowledges that it's changed. Yeah, let's go upstairs. So here's this bed stuff. And so, like, originally, with the original controls and graphics and stuff, you've got this verb bar, and you're all sort of like, use the bed, and as soon as you use the bed, the state of the cursor has refreshed. And so it's jumped back to the different verb, and it's reset all of your interactions. With the new stuff, when you do this, it doesn't kind of reset it as much. Like, these titles stay the way they are. So if we go to Ned's bed and we use Ned's bed, I'm gonna push Ned's use is good. The thing that we've got the mouse over automatically changes to squeaky mattress. So what I was about to say is completely wrong, and I've just gotten the wrong impression from however much messing around I've done. I don't know, maybe that was a bug that I had that I inadvertently fixed. So just ignore that I said that. But a lot of people miss that it changes from being Ned's bed to squeaky mattress that you interact with.
Sounds like the cat's caught a moose up there.
Is that him meant to be making a pun? I never kind of really worked out whether that was Ned making a pun. Use this. Let's go. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Pick me up some mice. I think the cat's got... It's got its own 1 pixel bumhole there. This piece of music reminds me a little bit of some of the Monkey Island 2 music. Maybe like the Booty Island music when you're looking at the map. But now it's moved on from the bit that reminds me of that. It's interesting to hear in the commentary that the music, like, the game didn't really have a lead composer. All the people who did music for it were kind of working together on an equal level and collaborating in a way that didn't have that kind of hierarchical structure. I think Peter McConnell mentions that it's the last game that they did that with. So you have the wine bottle to go in
Thank
there.
you. This is exactly the sort of thing I need for the time capsule. I'll bury it tonight, and it won't be seen for hundreds of years. Future generations are in your debt.
Is that how you imagine that John Hancock would sound?
I don't know.
So the flyer goes in the suggestion box.
Boy, it's sure quiet in here. I wonder if there might be any ideas worth discussing in the suggestion box. Maybe somebody should take a look.
I say, lads, I have an idea.
I like how Washington's all, it's my idea. I overheard it just now, but it's my idea.
No. I was thinking it's about time we open the suggestion box. Don't you agree?
Sure, George, if you say so.
Yes, whatever you think is fine with us.
Excellent.
What's he thinking? No one of any importance has been here all day. What could be in the suggestion box?
Perhaps he intends to suggest something himself.
Oh. Here's a suggestion. It says, George says that every American should have a vacuum cleaner in their basement. What do you think, gentlemen?
I like that. He's all, I don't remember writing this, but this is totally my idea.
Whatever you say, George.
And everyone's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Kind of reminds me of the documentaries behind like the making of the Star Wars prequels, where everybody around him is all, yeah, okay, whatever. Whatever you say, George.
I had a reason for it. If there are no objections, we shall add it to the Constitution immediately. No? Good. And so shall it be law.
Hollywood movies about bounty brawlers.
What's a
There's been some TV shows, a lot of spoofs, of course, but
Yeah, like no sort of like real dramatizations of stuff.
yeah, except for some of the TV shows, I think they're trying to do it.
Yeah. What do we need? Do we need to go up here? I guess we don't need to go up here just yet. Oh, that's Seagull. That's meant to be like the Seagull from Loom. Which you totally miss. If you don't go up the chimney, I don't think it's there. Whee! The stupid cartoon sound effects are great. But yeah, this swinging door, if you look at the door, let's look at. Oh, you can't even look at it? Don't tell me I can't look at it.
Bitchin'.
You know, you like push it, and it closes on its own. Like everybody's used to having to open the door, but the door automatically closes. So like people, I've seen a few people just kind of not realize it. All you have to do is walk into it, and it'll open for you.
Yeah.
I can't open it.
I did that once or twice. Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I invited my dad to play through the game. He'd never played it before. While I was doing the port, and he spent ages on the door just pushing it.
You gotta be quicker. You gotta be quicker.
Yeah.
I can't open
what? Keep pressing O by accident. It's my bad. Oh dear.
Yeah, take out, but it's been fun watching through this. So
yeah, cheers. Thanks for coming, and thanks for helping out with the Linux version.
Yeah, it's been great.
So this is the
all sudsy now.
This is the puzzle that everybody seems to have a problem with, which is this whole wash the carriage, makes it rain. And in the future, in Bernard's time, there's a car which has "Wash Me" written in the dust, and if you go to wash it with Bernard, he says, "No, I don't want it to rain." And so that's kind of meant to be the cue there. There are a couple of hints, you know, if you look at things. Hoagie says that it's dirty and it needs cleaning. There are a lot of things pointing towards needing to clean it.
Where are you going? What about your experiment?
So I don't think it's quite as obtuse as people make out.
Sometimes gets cold on account of rain, my boy.
It's not like the Monkey Wrench in Monkey Island, you know.
Stand out in a storm.
To be frank, which I am, I don't know. The science of
Like the idea that Benjamin Franklin says, to be frank, like, it's fantastic.
Back to the drawing board, I say.
What a genius.
Whoop. Got to press the right buttons. Alright, so Benjamin Franklin is now inside. Some more meanwhile.
Maybe we should add a rule that you can't dump sludge into the water supply.
What manner of fool would do that in the first place?
Oh, you know what? I forgot to do something
You're
outside. Alright, no, let's go and do the outside stuff first. Do. So it's always interesting to look at the way that the scenes are laid out, where the exits are and how accessible the exits are. So we got red paint, so you can paint the kumquat tree, paint all the kumquats red, so that George Washington will think that it's a cherry tree. See, I knew nothing about George Washington and cherry trees. That has zero mind share in the country that I live in. But the dialogue stuff, you talk to him, you can talk to him about cherry trees. He says he cuts out a lot. So you can connect those dots even if you're not that familiar with that stuff. I think. I'm sure many people don't agree. So we're going to... let's go get this stuff chopped down first. Good old George Washington.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Whoa, you're like George Washington.
Whoa, you're like George Washington.
Very much like him, according to my wife.
It's the same voice actor, and as soon as you know it's the same voice actor, you cannot hear the guy talking to himself.
Does Mrs. Washington know you wear so much makeup?
One must wear makeup when one receives the phenomenal amount of media attention that I do. It's quite likely that I'll be president soon, you know. Do you think I should be
That's a turkey in the background.
President or the
A framed picture of a turkey. Cherry trees.
Depends on how many cherry trees you've chopped down.
Well, I am quite the adept tree cutter. Men still tell tales of my youthful prowess.
I bet
you've lost it. You couldn't cut down.
I remember when my dad was playing, he really didn't want to say this line about him not being able to cut down trees to save his grandmother. Didn't want to antagonize George Washington.
But as you can see, there... oh, well, what do you know? There is a cherry tree out there.
Let's go chop the sucker down.
Let's go chop the sucker down.
And then have a cappuccino. Anyway, he leans on his axe there. Very satisfied.
Try to understand.
Yeah, see, the kumquats look red to me. I got a little bit of color blindness, so maybe I'm not viewing it right, but it sure looked red to me.
Voila!
Voila!
Yes, I know.
Ding 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 ding. Alright, so we can be Laverne now if we ever need. Which is great. Absolutely great. Hey, how's it going? See, as soon as I got like the game actually starting, like as soon as the intro cutscene would work, like as soon as I got that rendering, the rest of the game pretty much played like none of that was code. You know, I never got any cool graphical glitches or any cool like gameplay glitches, because all that code's shared between all the different platforms. As I mentioned earlier, like the biggest... Oop, didn't mean to go in there. The biggest thing that I had was stuff that was related to the timing of the you know, whatever words I'm about to say. The timing of the audio cues, like with iMUSE waiting for things to happen. Sometimes getting the wrong values there.
Mr.
Brainstorm? Yes, hand it over.
I think he spits when he talks.
Doesn't this belong to somebody?
Yeah, Red Edison.
Ah.
If my name was Frank, I would say, to be frank, which I am,
I'm sorry,
all the time.
But has no vision. A lightweight, durable fabric like this going to waste down in his basement. When I'm done with it, it will.
Yeah, Max portrait on the wall is great. It's always great to see Max.
Eureka!
Is that the first time we've seen Max on Linux? I guess the GOG version of Sam and Max Hit the Road is available for Linux, so it's not.
No, there's no fuse.
So what do I like?
Last time, you're not going to like anything. You just push it.
The whole time?
So Hoagie here and Ben from Full Throttle are supposedly brothers, according to some notes that were never really published anywhere. But a fan who now works as the community manager for Double Fine, James Spafford. We're gonna push the kite. Yeah. Oops. He'd sort of guessed it, and he asked Tim, and Tim was like, "Oh, how did you know?" So I guess that's like the cat's out of the bag.
Look, it's very simple.
But yeah, it's kind of idea that Hoagie's this roadie guy, and
actually, I'd like to go.
I don't know. His big brother, his younger brother. I don't know. Interesting relationship to think about. Is the leader of the Polecats.
What a grouch.
Alright, so we got that. We're gonna start needing to have some stuff from Bernard now. Let's start by getting the stuff that we need from Laverne.
I haven't done anything.
Well, you must have done something or you wouldn't be here now, would you? You'd be out in the lobby with your tentacle owner, getting dressed up for the human show.
Owner? No one owns me.
Gosh, no owner, you say? Well, don't worry about it.
It's a cool, like, sort of sinister riff in the music here. It's great.
Have to put you to sleep.
Damn that Dr. Fred.
Hey, she knows the Edison family motto.
It's always interesting to look at how the graphics have shifted a bit. And the level of faithfulness. I mean, there are some things where there just isn't enough information in the scene to be able to, you know, you've got to guess, you've got to do some guesswork and work out what's going on. Like, there's no way you could work out what number was on the card there. Maybe it was a 7. No, it's a 9. But in general, like, all the graphic upscaling has been pretty faithful. Oh yeah, we just talked about Jar-Jar a bit earlier. But for now, we're going to continue moving on, and we're going to go and pretend to be sick, as you should be. How's it going, Jenny? So Jenny, in chat at the moment, was also a tester on Day of the Tentacle for Linux. As was Syd there, also gave us a hand. I don't feel so good.
Ooh, I don't feel so good. I think I'm going to throw up all over.
Uh-oh. Time to visit Dr. Tentacle.
Well, what have we here?
I feel pukey.
Indeed. All right, now hold still.
Are you gonna use your scalpel?
No, of course not.
Darn. Do you want to use mine?
Laverne is the best character. When I was much, much younger, I might have had a crush on Laverne.
What?
If you watch these plants in the foreground, I mean, I assume they're plants. Maybe they're not. They move.
Human.
What a letdown.
Well, I'm late for the show. I'll send your keeper back for you. Oh.
Sit.
Sit.
Stay.
Stay. Good boy.
Good boy. Alright. I think the, identifying that you need to use the poster in the past was kind of a bit of a leap for me. First time I played, took a while to get that.
Hey, how'd you get out?
Yeah.
Get back in there.
I think they use the generic punch sound for light switches.
I wish Dr. Tentacle would stop losing patience.
You can use the disappearing ink on Purple Tentacle. I have not tried that. I will have to give that a go. Make sure you remind me
Mr. Tentacle guy?
after I get the disappearing ink. It's the opposite of invisible ink, isn't it? I guess. Does invisible ink work that way? I've never used invisible ink.
Ah, that's a good one. Imagine a human using a bathroom. Come on, let's take a walk. Okay, human, do your business.
Do your business. Do. And now we can pass stuff between characters. Bernard gets the scalpel. And Hoags gets the flag. Or the thing that will eventually be the flag.
Ready for another brush with destiny?
None. Go away.
I'd rather mope around some more.
I'll be waiting.
What you're writing with invisible ink, I mean, are you writing with lemon juice, or you got some other kind of compound, and the behaviors have probably changed dramatically. Goodness me. Give spaghetti to Laverne. Yeah, we know. What else we got? A letter can go to Bernard. And the can opener needs to go to Laverne. Yeah, I completely forgot about the shortcut when the remastered version came out, and I played it via Wine without using the inventory shortcut stuff. Crazy. It always bugged me as well that the battery designs say that you need lettuce. I didn't even look at them before I gave him the thing, I don't think. Anyway, let's put that down there. No, I haven't given them to him yet. That's what's in my inventory. But yeah, if you... Can we look at this? No? It says that we need oil, gold, vinegar, croutons, and lettuce. But, like, the croutons, I don't know, they don't have an arrow, so they don't seem that important. But a lettuce totally has an arrow, and you totally don't need lettuce in the game. It always bugged me.
It's the battery plans I'm supposed to give to that red Edison dude.
What? No, open that door. Alright, so let's do some Bernard stuff now. I also kind of really enjoy Dr. Fred's. The scaling, I've scaled it down for the stream a little bit to conserve bandwidth because I live in crappy backwards internet Australia. But I always thought that his hand wringing animation was really cool in the original. Mostly when he's standing at the time machine during the intro cutscene. It's really neat. Considering there's only like 3 frames that work there, it's got a nice sense of motion about it. Alright, let's get some stuff. I think that, like, effectively, just like everyone in adventure games, Kleptomania. It's mad. Alright. Let's push the clown.
I hate that clown.
Alright. Let's get our revenge. Look how creepy Bernard's face is there. It's brilliant.
It doesn't seem to open.
Pick up.
Hey, boy, you missed the party.
You and the clown were having a party?
You and the clown were having a party?
No, last night.
Like the notion that he was having a party with the clown.
The novelty good sales
It's great.
convention. I tell you, we novelty good salesmen know how to have a good time.
Oh, the lettuce could be a reference to something in Maniac Mansion. I never considered that. Yeah, alright, get out of here.
Ciao, kid.
So I imagine it's not very visible on screen, but right here in the corner there's a bottle. In the original graphics it's unlabeled, but in the remastered graphics it's got the GOLO Flakes label on it, which is a reference to a typo that made it into a texture for Grim Fandango Remastered. It's meant to be gold flakes, it had GOLO Flakes, and a few people kind of were unhappy about that. There was a bit of a fuss made about it. Which is, you know, it's kind of a bit of a silly oversight, you know, to be able to make it in the game, but it's kind of cool to see that referenced here. Aha, that's awesome. So Mim has been drawing. I don't know how well you can see this on the screen. Let me bring up OBS so I can see what I'm doing. Mim has been drawing cool Day of the Tentacle fan art. Look at that Laverne. She's got monster eyebrows. Look at that, scary ass. Sweet. Let's get us a fork. Pick up all the things. Pick up all the everything. Pick up all the everything else. Go in all the rooms. Trespass everywhere we can. Typical adventure game stuff. Doo-doo-doo. Let's give some teeth to Hoagie there. I should have gone upstairs and done the grab the invisible ink and stuff first. And I need to go upstairs before I can get the crowbar as well. I'm definitely not going to be breaking any speedrun records here. This is... I never noticed, but the W, the R, and the F... Well, that's F for Franklin, W for Washington, and R for Rosie. Like, they're the people who are in Hoagie's time who have those rooms. It's kind of cool. So we need to turn on the television so that we can know about the crystal or the diamond.
Carat diamond can be yours today for the special rock bottom introductory price of $2 million. The number to call is 1-800-STAR WARS.
How much does this guy look like the guy that won your best employee of all time award in the cave? Let's close that door. No adventure game is like truly complete without a close the door puzzle. Just to remind you that you're stupid and you never close doors. Yeah. Also, speaking of rocking music, rash of cow piping baffles police. Yeah, 1-800-Star Wars was the hint line, right?
It's useless. No one will ever be interested in my design, so I'm ending my novelty.
Like happy, upbeat, cartoony game.
How appropriate.
We just got dark, and then whoop. I love how pathetic his socks are. It's brilliant. So he can get the letter.
Hey, there's a letter here for you.
For me? Probably another rejection slip. Oh well. You're brilliant. What a novel design.
What a novel design. So enthusiastic. And then PWAM! But this store, when you open it, it's got a number 2 on it. On the inside. And I guess it looks like a number 2 here. I mean, it's definitely an R from the outside. And I suppose if you don't have the the vertical line in the R, it looks a little bit like a 2. But is that a cactus here? Yeah, it's a cool cactus. I think the security cameras are prominent in the silhouettes everywhere, just to give you that little extra reminder that that you're being surveilled, and that comes into play.
Green. Bernard, what are you doing up here?
Well, I couldn't stop Purple, and he's gonna go out and conquer the world.
So does he have a cat, or is that his litter tray? I never really got that. I never really kind of clued into which. Did something weird happen to a cat that he didn't want to talk about, or is that his litter box in his bedroom that he just doesn't want to talk about or acknowledge?
See you later.
We're busy. We're doing stuff.
Yeah. Good luck in saving the world, B-Man.
B-Man. Oh, he calls him B-Man. Like, as if anybody would call Bernard B-Man. It's brilliant.
Wow.
How rocking is this music?
Wow.
Yeah, that's the other thing I never got about Garfield. Because it totally looks like Garfield sleeps in his litter tray. Now I'm playing with the original music just because I really enjoy the original music, but the remaster music is cool too.
Whew.
Time to cause some shenanigans. No respect, absolutely no respect for anybody. I like this. You look at the poster. Dialogue here is funny.
Oh, baby, what a man.
You ain't kidding, precious.
I like kind of imagine her to say like, "Have a seat," like Zek does in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It's like super sleazy.
Well, you know what they say. If you want to save the world, you gotta
Oh wow!
put a few old
I
ladies down
wasn't
the
aware of
stairs.
that. GT and the sushi platters screen. I like should look that up and totally make like some cool piece of fan art that upreses it and celebrates it. Be cool. I wonder if you can get a t-shirt. I can wear a GT and the sushi platters t-shirt.
Hey, aren't you weird Ed Edison, the paramilitary nut?
Why, yes,
Why, yes, I...
Do I know you?
Yeah, I'm Bernard Bernoulli. I broke into your house 5 years ago, kidnapped your hamster, broke into your piggy bank.
Nope, doesn't ring a bell. but I can't remember much about that period anyway. My psychotherapist thinks something traumatic happened to me back then that I'm blocking out.
Bernard's face looks way red compared to Weird Ed there.
So what are you up to these days?
Don't worry about me. I'm much better now. I don't have those bad thoughts
Bad
anymore.
thoughts
Now
anymore.
I collect stamps.
So Jenni and Syd, what are your first memories of the game? Because you're both people who've played it a lot before, and I was really glad to have Jenni on board as a tester, due to her familiarity with Maniac Mansion, because I never really played Maniac Mansion that much, and I'm definitely not the right person to dig in and be able to identify, if anything's kind of quirky.
I'd rather not. Hey, wanna see a neat trick?
Sure.
Neat, huh?
My Pony Express stamp.
Look at those veins.
Ruined my Pony Express stamp. Not to mention 5 years of therapy.
Crazy.
Get out of my room.
Jeez, what a grump. You should really try to find some outlet for those... negative feelings.
The stamp is mine. Precious stamp. I don't think we even need to give that back to him now. Because we already got the hamster. What else do we need to do? Let's go make sleepy times for Professor. For Dr. Fred. Did I just go in there? I didn't mean to go in there. I'm too busy looking at the chat. Because I remember my first memories of the game were about... I was never really interested in it. I'd not heard of Maniac Mansion. I'd not heard of David the Tentacle before I got the LucasArts archives. No, I bought that for some Star Wars thing that was in it. And I was like, oh yeah, it's got Indiana Jones and Sam and Max, and I was excited about those, but David the Tentacle wasn't really anything that I had any attention for. And I remember when I was kind of reluctant to play it, because I hadn't played the first game. But then I heard it had the first game inside it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a go. And it was this whole new, different thing that I'd never discovered before. It was kind of nice to kind of work through and become familiar with something like that without having come across it before. The people who showed me Monkey Island, I got that from a friend, and they were all, hey, yeah, this game's really cool, and so I was able to share in their enthusiasm and pick up on what the game was and wasn't from them. But this was sort of like the first adventure game that I kind of really tackled on my own and did on my own. Yeah, I remember when they used to have in computer stores and stuff, they'd have games running in demo mode. Can't see much of that these days. I remember that there was a lot of, I guess, or people talk about there being a lot of conflict, or people were either LucasArts adventure game fans or Monkey Island or Sierra adventure game fans, and I remember that I love the hell out of both.
1968.
I think Conquest of Camelot was the first Sierra adventure game that I played,
1974.
and I spent so much time playing Quest for Glory. I love the hell out of that.
1977.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, isn't it, Syd? Where it does stand out as having good voice work and having like really high production values. I just really feel like it was kind of a step above what was before it, right? Not that it doesn't have its own problems, not that what came before wasn't great, not that what came after was, you know, only standing on the shoulders of this, but this kind of feels like it represents a bit of a, like to me it feels like it represents a bit of a turning point between that kind of Monkey Island learning from that Why Adventure Games Suck essay and sort of bringing those sensibilities in, and this was where they kind of hit the stride and had kind of mastered that, I guess. Like, all the tech was pretty solid, they're doing cool things with iMUSE. It feels like people who know their craft, you know, creating a work rather than people who are kind of learning as they go, creating stuff. I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of interesting new ground broken, but it does feel like Day of the Tentacle sits on that threshold between a kind of Monkey Island era stuff and you know, Full Throttle and Curse of Monkey Island and the stuff that followed on. Yeah, right. This was the first game that was talkie at release. No, I think it's my understanding that that the game was a fair way through production before they decided to add voice. So it wasn't planned from the get-go, but the fact that it was done before release meant that they could tune up the scripts and stuff. Yeah, Loom had voices, but their voices were added after the game was released, weren't they? It's like a second CD version that was released after the floppy version. I think.
Whew.
Yeah, Monkey Island's got some great humor in it. I mean, all of these games kind of do. What do we got going on?
Wow, that guy just won the lottery.
The head of the Navigator's great. I feel like the Navigator head deserves its own spin-off game, right?
Oh, never mind.
Oh, never mind. Here's a fun trick. If you skip this dialogue,
What can I do for you?
you don't get the cigar.
Nice cigars.
I roll them myself. So, want a cigar?
So don't skip the dialogue, you know.
Sure.
We only came. I mean, I don't think anybody playing the game is going to come across that in the wild. We only came across it during testing because, you know, people are rushing through the game, trying to get things done as quickly as they can. Yeah, Bim is cranking out this artwork. Look at that. It's Laverne in a penguin costume. Can we get the brighter?
Get
There we
lost,
go.
kid.
It's a bit better. How cool is that? It's great. Right, so we got the thing. He's sad now, which is great. That's what adventure games are about, right? Making people sad. That can go to Hoagie. That can go to Hoagie. We're going to give Laverne the disappearing ink. We're going to give the stamp to Hoagie, I guess. And we're going to give that to Laverne. And we're going to give that to Laverne. And we're going to give the fork to Laverne. Oh, and Laverne needs a bath as well. There you go. Enjoy that bath. Do you ever actually do anything with the gum? I don't think you can. Yeah, you have to like crank the skip button, and it's not the skip line button. It's the skip scene button, which is delete. A fun piece of trivia for anybody who hasn't heard it: in these games, you can press full stop to skip a line of dialogue, and the reason that full stop was decided to be the shortcut key for that was because full stop is how you end a sentence. So if we talk to Dr. Fred, he tells us that he's really tired, so we give him decaf, and then he falls asleep.
Thanks. I needed a little pick-me-up. Must open safe. Must sign contract. Must provide for family.
I think his heart's in the right place. He wants to provide for his family. That always surprised me. I always felt like Dr. Fred would be someone who was just a little bit more self-serving than anything else. That he'd care more about himself being broke than whether or not his family was doing okay. Do-do-do. Do-do. The image that's down the bottom right of the stream there, I made that back in 2014. Back when the original announcement of the remastered version came out. And as we got closer to releasing the game, we had to set it up in Steam so that some of the testers could have access to it. But unfortunately that means that people who own the game on Steam and are running the Linux client, Steam tells them that the game's there and that they can download it and that they can play it. And the first time the user has any kind of indication that anything's wrong is when they go to start the game and it says that there's a missing executable. And so, in an effort to avoid... one thing I don't get here about the controls is on all the tape recorders I've had, a red circle is record and
Dr. Fred Edison.
A white square would be stop. Like, a square is always stop. It makes no sense to me. But yeah, so Linux users could get in this situation where Steam makes it look like the game is available and it's not. And I thought, well, what can we do to sort of make sure that we communicate to Linux users that even though Steam's showing them the wrong, can potentially give them the wrong impression. Sorry, rewind first. Even though we end up in this awkward situation, we wanted to let people know that we were working on it and that we were kind of, we cared about it being released and stuff. So I took that picture there and popped coming soon, thanks for your patience on the bottom, and made that into a really simple application that just had the same name as the game's executable. And so we just put that up in the default branch on Steam, and anybody who owned the game who tried to launch it would get that little nice coming soon thing instead. And people loved the hell out of it. I was really surprised. I was like, I was more interested in making sure that people didn't have a bad experience, but people found it to be like a really cool thing to discover. And even after release, I'm still getting positive feedback on it. People are telling me that they loved that little Easter egg before the game released, or that they thought that the artwork was really cool and they were glad to have the opportunity to see it like that. So that's really cool. Dr. Fred only cares about his family and his consciousness. Subconsciousness. That's great. And alongside the porting article that I recently did, circular footprints. Who says footprints? The first thing said triangular man spotted at scene of crime. And when the Linux version was released, Tim did a tweet and he said, Dave the Tentacle spotted on Linux, triangular man scene of crime. It's probably Valiant Cheese. It's kind of amusing. But yeah, it was great to be able to release the sources for that, the source code for that little example application. Oh, hang on. While we're here, let's do something inappropriate to a hamster. Don't do this at home, kids. I like that there's a whole don't put hamsters in microwaves thing, but there's no don't put hamsters in freezers. But yeah, I was able to release the source code for that sort of coming soon app. And while I don't think it's anything special, like it's not really going to be useful to anyone, it's just really nice to have been able to share that, you know. The way I kind of approach free software generally is one second. The way I approach my mentalities about free software is more about like share stuff. Like it should be default to share stuff, and the only reason that you don't want to share stuff is because that has negative consequences for you. So if it doesn't hurt you to share anything, share it. You know. Or you could put like Jimmy Two Teeth in a microwave. I don't even remember that. Let's get in the window. You know, when I'm trying to do the game, play through the game quickly, I always get to that point and I'm like, okay, so I need rope before I go up here. Where do I get the rope from? And I end up wandering around for a while. Alright, rope. Cool cartoon chimney physics. Perp. Out the door, come on. Use the dangling rope. Where'd that cousin Ted? So Ted's in Maniac Mansion as well, right? Let's give a yank on that rope. Yeah, the keyboard shortcut for push is S, is S for shove, and for pull it's Y, which is like Y for yank. And there's the kind of logic behind all the shortcuts, even when they may not make sense on the surface. Is that the sound of a hubcap? I have to get back up the chimney. I've not given Bernard the red paint, so let's do that. Yeah. So when did the NES version of Maniac Mansion happen then? Because I thought
Just got him up here.
Tim's first oh no, I've got to push him off the bed. No I don't. Whoops, my bad. So yeah, when did that happen? Because I thought that Monkey Island was the first like non-testing role that Tim had.
There's no escape from the IRS.
But I could totally be wrong on that as well. Yeah, it's kind of cool that they called all their like little scum trainees scumlets. Oh, that looks like it hurt. Like the single frame of Bernard's eyes bulging there are mad. Yeah, right.
Well, try and keep it down, okay?
Do you pretend that these agents are related to Super Bowl? They're all brothers. Alright, here we go.
Nah, I'm not gonna make that mistake again.
Excuse me. Wow.
Dr. Fred, are you okay? Dr. Fred? I'd better get him to the lab.
I like that you don't have to drag his corpse around. That's quite nice.
Well, I got him in here, but he's out cold.
Time for some wake-up juice. Funnel first. And coffee. Like, this is the coffee that he was normally drinking to stay awake. Why didn't it have this effect on him before?
Good coffee.
More hand wringing. I need to get the thing out of the safe. Come on, get out of here. I do kind of hate that you can't click out of the inventory in the remastered controls like that. Open the safe.
Let's see, it's 101-99957.
Ha! There's a lot of cool dialogue hiding in this game. And it's kind of doubly tragic that you're going to miss so much of it. When you consider all the voice work that's gone into it. It's a slightly different proposition.
I got the contract for you to
It's a
sign,
slightly
Doctor.
different proposition when it's only text and there's a little bit less, work involved in producing it. But when there's, voice direction and voice acting and all that sort of stuff involved, it's in some ways it's kind of sad to not, to have cool dialogue lines that people may never see. He does it anyway. Awesome. I'll get rid of Purple Tentacle.
I'll get rid of Purple Tentacle myself.
I can do it.
Oh, yeah? How?
A petition. Yeah.
I'm starting up a petition to ban all tentacles.
I love this dialogue puzzle, because I think no matter what option you pick, he's like happy to give you his signature. He's like, I don't sign anything unless I've read it. But but then no matter what you pick after that, he's happy to sign it anyway. It's great. So we now need to throw a stamp on that. And I'll just give that to Hoagie then. Or not. Too slow. Let's try it again. Hoags, take this. Send it to the place. Put the stamp on it. Yeah, let's go. Boing. And there is a hell of a lot of dialogue in this. Lots of cool lines that I'd never seen before. I came across while working on the port. There's one a bit later with Laverne and the cat that I will. Where am I going? Oh, yeah, totally not paying attention. One later on with Laverne and the cat that I'll show off. So there we go.
I can't open it.
What? No. There we go. Yeah. Maniac Mansion is really interesting. It had that kind of
Hi there.
Last Express aspect of like you needed to understand the timers and needed to explore the possibility space.
I don't have all day.
to understand the consequences that would happen.
This is Farley Crock at LucasArts Games. I just discovered your contract among some very old files, and, well, our lawyers say that we have to pay you $2 million in royalties.
It's an interesting trade-off, because you need to be able to communicate to players what's going on.
For the use of your family in the Maniac Mansion video
The amount of time that you end up investing if you don't know what's going on, and then have to go back before those timers start to go again, like that's a huge thing.
Oh, right now. It's been credited to your Swiss bank account.
Yeah, Laverne's great.
Operator, get me a travel agent.
Get me a travel agent. Alright, let's go inside and do some inside Hoagie stuff. Doop. Have one of these.
Excuse me. Yes? Mr. President, may I offer you an excellent smoke?
Can you also provide me with a light?
Sure.
Well, in that case...
Huh. More of the generic punching sound. In my mind, like, yeah, when people turn on light switches in this game, they're punching them.
When that happens. See if you can't find those for me, will you? There's a good lad.
So the goal here is to make everyone think that George Washington's cold, because he's bragging about being cold at, I don't know, Fort Worth or somewhere. And they won't light a fire if George isn't cold.
Why, thank you, young man. Strange. I wonder if I should cut down on the coffee.
Hey, Tom, look. The father of our nation is cold. Better build a fire.
You're right. I guess you can have my log.
Me? Why should I build the fire? You build the fire.
I'm bothered by the smoke. You build the fire.
I'm bothered by your attitude. You build the fire.
This is like the Flying Fettuccinis brothers in Monkey Island 1.
No, you build the fire, log lover.
No.
Ruffian, Fop, Weasel.
No,
Weevil.
You build the fire.
You big baby.
Look at how happy he is. Always makes me laugh. Alright, let's get Course of Mayhem. So they conveniently stay outside until you pick up the quill, if I remember right. It's an achievement for trying to sign the quill, sign the contract yourself. You need to forge Dr. Fred's signature. Yes, my brother Alfredo and my brother Bill. It's great. So, like, Monkey Island was originally meant to be serious. Or more serious, I guess. It's always kind of weird to imagine what Monkey Island would have been like as a serious game.
It's blocked off with somebody's bed.
Oh, whoops, wrong window. Never get old seeing Hoagie's butt crack. Yeah, I mean, making Monkey Island humorous, making it a kind of funny game was definitely the right way to go, and it kind of, I feel like that's because it plays on this like romanticized portrayal of pirates and stuff. Piracy wasn't like that, you know. So it's kind of cool to know, or to like make that tongue in cheek and to make that kind of humorous and make it a little bit silly. Is that in Eric Wilmunder's stuff?
I wonder if they've...
Yo, Penmaster.
I'm afraid we're a little busy right now.
It's an achievement saying that their scriptwriters were too lazy.
Wasn't Ben Franklin talking about starting some sort of fire department?
Alright, what do we need now? We need the gold pen, and then we're going to need the vinegar, and we're good to go battery-wise in the past. Yeah, Eric's stuff, that, like, big pile of stuff that he shared is amazing. Let me find a link for that and paste that in chat. So I think most of that stuff can be found here. It's well worth checking out. There's a lot of like really cool history kicking around there.
It looks pretty clear in here now. Say, did you get the pen on our way out?
It's always tricky, you know, like, for any game concept, for any, like, premise, which is the seed that you sow and the game grows out of, for, like, at that beginning point, it can grow in, like, a seemingly infinite number of ways, like, there's such a broad spectrum of interpretations that you can have from any plot, and what comes out the other end is usually very much a factor of the creative priorities and the creative drives that the people involved have. And you know, it's possible that you're seeing so much of Hoagie's bum crack there. You know, it's possible that the premise sounds good, and you kind of go, I can imagine that being a really awesome game. But maybe it wouldn't have turned out how you imagine. That it could have turned out differently from what you might expect as people like continue to work on and refine things. But it's always really cool to think about the possibility space that represents. Like, there's so much stuff for every game that does get made. There's millions of kind of slightly different interpretations or iterations on that don't exist, and it's kind of cool to think about that stuff, I think. Let's give some stuff to Laverne. Laverne's gonna need most of these things. Oh, and Bernard needs to give her the crank. Alright, there we go. We are set. It's a fantastic walk. Going inside, yoo-hoo, Mr. Tentacle Guy.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Tentacle Guy.
It's about time.
Now we gotta feel sick again.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Tentacle Guy.
What?
Ooh, I don't
feel so good.
feel so good.
Again?
Alright, let's go get our snazzy new costume. Up we go. So it's really cool to look at the code base for Day of the Tentacle and be able to kind of look backwards in time through the different. I don't know if layers is really the right term to use, but
that's enough, son. I just wanted to be sure you weren't
is there a missing dialogue line there?
Sympathizers.
It's kind of weird.
What with this ridiculous human show going on here, there's files everywhere.
Yeah, this is kind of at the core is all the original Scum stuff, and that's made in the 80s, and it's made with these kind of 80s sensibilities. Can I get changed here, or do I need to go upstairs? Yeah, go back up here. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see. You got all this kind of old Scum code in the middle, and then there's the 2008. That kind of when LucasArts started looking at remastering some of their old titles and the Monkey Island special editions happened. There's that era of code sitting around that, and then there's the work that Double Fine have done, sort of sitting in amongst that as well. And they've all kind of got different characteristics about them, and it's really neat to be able to have one project that represents that kind of cross section of kind of history. Yeah, I find that really fascinating. We gotta talk to this guy to get the name cards, don't we?
Hello, I'm a tentacle. I'd like to enter my insignificant human in the show.
Oh my, yes, of course. Take these tags and put them on your human and have them wait on the bench in the lobby.
In the lobby.
In 3 categories: best smile, best hair, and best laugh.
Thank you, fellow tentacle. Unlike humans, you have been very useful.
I feel Laverne throws herself into the pot.
Believe me, it was my pleasure.
Now all I need is a human.
Yowza! Who says yowza?
Good-looking tentacle.
Yowza. Jeez. Alright. Yeah, let's go do some stuff. Do we switch to let's switch to the new music, because I don't listen to it much. It's totally not there. No, stop clicking on the wrong button. What am I doing? Let's go for auto music and auto things. And resume the game. There it is. It's all different. Burp.
Stupid tentacle.
But do you reckon that, hang on, we gotta look at the ice machine before we can pick up the hamster.
Looks like there's some kind of rodent down there.
Yeah, I've used the disappearing ink on a lot of characters. Some characters don't care, or don't have very interesting reactions. Others do. Alright. Can opener. I think with the original graphics, the candle animation is a little bit more convincing than it is with the new graphics. The higher resolution, kind of not quite the same sense of or style of movement.
Unopened.
I think. And we're finally get the vinegar.
The final element for my ingenious battery.
Futuristic candles, yeah.
Give me room to work.
He's got all the things in his pockets. There's a spatula in there, I love that. I like that it's bolted down too, that candelabra. Woohoo!
A miracle pinnacle of modern science. It will look lovely here on the shelf until I take it with me to Baltimore.
I love how oblivious Fred is about
but the British are coming, dude.
all of this battery stuff.
Eh? Where? Is that supposed to be funny? I'm very busy.
And the way that it's played, like Hoagie just kind of slips it into the pocket up here, which we're going to do in a moment. Doop, 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 doop. But yeah, I think that the
Ready for another brush with destiny?
are we really meant to be behind that rope there?
Sure, why not?
Splendid.
Yeah, the code's interesting. Like, it seems to have had like a fair degree of
Now.
there we go. It seems to have had like a fair degree of polish. Like
She's handling kind of
even the Maniac Mansion, like the code that's running Maniac Mansion, still feels like it's
She's too heavy. I can't control her.
it's been
Hang on, Ben. Hang on.
you know, gone through a few hands and been tidied up, and doesn't have any silly comments in it and that sort of stuff. Everybody's all, do you see all these cool, code comments that tell you all silly stuff? And I'm like, yeah, no, not really.
Yeah. Say,
Not much
can
of
I
that
see
going on.
Kite for a second?
No, I'm taking it back to my lab in Philly right now so I can study the results. Wish me luck.
After the battery falls out there and he's like, oh, finally, lucky to get the battery. And then he comes back and you're like, oh no, he's going to take the battery.
Nice working with you, Hoagie. I promise to name an invention after you someday.
There's stuff about sandwiches. I never paid attention to the sandwich thing. Yeah, Humongous got a lot of mileage out of the Scum engine. I thought that was really cool. Yoink. Alright, battery number 1.
Whoa.
I love in the commentary that I think it's Tim mentions that they were talking about the idea of having the time machines themselves like coalesce out of matter from the environment. So he was talking about like cats and grass and just general stuff that's lying around or just comes together and forms the chronogon that they step out of. I always thought that was kind of cool. Cool idea. Alright. Done everything we need to do in here. They kept the initials on the rooms as well. How funky is this music? I like how terrified she is of the lava lamp.
Ruby. No way, those things are dangerous.
Alright. Let's do it. Do. Pick up that cord. I just like the hitbox for the chords, like never where I sort of expect it to be. Oh wow, they had problems with the Scum engine name? I don't know, I never really thought that anybody cared much or really bothered telling anybody about the names of the engines that they use. I just felt like Scum was something that was really heavily pushed,
Yes?
because it was something that LucasArts had built themselves, and they had this kind of style and genre of game that they were selling. Yeah, alright, here we go.
Well, don't you just look good enough to
But yeah, I mean, I don't really remember at the time
You're not a human sympathizer, are you?
many people making a fuss about the names of the engines that games ran on.
Why, yes, I'm a firm believer in human rights.
serious. You know, I'm working on a way to get rid of the humans once and for all.
I bet that made a lot of people happy. If they removed the name.
What are you plotting?
I'm building a shrinking ray, which I
Because you kind of get the impression that the people who named that were very conscious about what they were doing. Alright.
If you will excuse me, I've got something in the oven.
Anyone I know, eh?
Look at that banter. Alright. Disappearing ink. Here we go.
You might clap me in irons if I do that.
Oh wow, in the eye.
That trick has got to be older than I am.
In the eye suction cup, and he's totally unfazed. That was cool. I don't need to be up here yet. What am I doing? Come on. Down the stairs. Let's get our name tag in here. Hi, my name is Uncle Ted.
Well, that's the spirit. Everyone's raring to go. Let's get this show on the road.
This like ridiculous safari hat.
Ah, here it comes, my finest hour.
I think, Owl, that you were being a little bit cocky there. Anybody feel bad about what they did to Harold? Or did you just go, he's French and he's had it coming? I don't know why he has a French accent. Nobody else in the game has a French accent. Oh, that guy's wearing a cone of shame. It's brilliant. Alright, Harold, you're sick. Now let's not be rash.
That's gross.
What are you babbling about?
You really should have told the judges if you weren't feeling well.
Oh, ick! Now, how did that mess get in there? I think I'm going to be sick.
Someone in here not feeling well?
I was feeling fine until I saw that.
Is that your regurgitation?
No, I'm an healthy human.
Didn't you just say...
Like, doesn't this remind you of the scene in the barber shop in Monkey Island 3?
Do you realize you could have infected the whole show with human influenza?
But I just got all my shots.
You're a good-looking human, Harold, but you know the rules. You're out of the show.
Alright, so remember how the spaghetti that we picked up when we were Hoagie was raw and straight?
What a mess.
I hate cleaning up after humans.
So yeah, we had raw spaghetti before, we put it in the Chronojon, and now when we look in Laverne's inventory, it's like wet noodles. So, that's come from the toilet water, right? I mean, we hear that kind of toilet water sound when we put stuff in the Chronojon. So we put our new wet noodles, which were originally just raw noodles. Where did the meatballs come from? They're toilet meatballs. And we're gonna eat one. Aw, Syd doesn't care about Harold at all. You're like, well, he ceases to exist, it doesn't matter. He had feelings. He had feelings, Syd. He still existed during that time. So heartless. That lovely, lovely
so
laugh.
I said to her,
That's not my suction cup. Anybody care for a bribe?
What do you think we are, human?
Ha ha ha! Human. Ha ha ha!
Yeah, why did that Purple Tentacle hang around? The old Purple Tentacle.
Hey, Hey, when are you guys going to judge best hair?
Oh, all right.
I feel like these guys should have suction cup sounds when they move. This is like chorus of.
Wow, that's the best hair I've ever seen on a mummy. Thick.
And they all acknowledge that it's a mummy.
The mummy wins. Agreed.
Why are they wearing fezzes? It's great. But I love that even as kind of zany, what am I doing? And kind of weird and out there, it is that the game, the game follows its own rules. You know, everything that happens within its universe feels like it's coherent within the rules that you've been exposed to. It's got that kind of cartoony physics stuff going on. You can paint the kumquats red and a tree looks like a cherry tree, because, you know, kumquats and cherries are the same size, right? But everything does kind of feel coherent and natural within its own environment. I really kind of think that's a fantastic bit of world building and a fantastic bit of writing to pull that off.
When are you guys going to judge best laugh?
Oh, all right.
Okay, who's got a joke?
Hey, I just flew in from Baltimore.
And boy, are my suction cups tired. I like how unimpressed he is with the delivery of that.
A classic. It's amazing how the mummy can do that without moving his lips.
I say we give him
so
first place.
Silly.
Agreed.
Well, that makes him best of show.
Let's go congratulate him. He is.
Oh, who are we gonna ink?
I'll miss his laugh.
It's time to get
I've already inked Purple Tentacle, if you haven't spotted it.
Yes, our work here is done.
Ah, so beautiful. Let's just get a screenshot there. Why not?
Well, Ted, this is where we part ways. You've certainly helped save humanity.
My
Even
goodness.
though you've been dead for thousands of years, I think you're my favorite Edison.
The performance on her is fantastic. So much just crazy manic behavior about her. But while we're here, have some disappearing ink. Yeah.
Don't you think that's funny?
What happened to your sense
Whoa!
of
Was that
humor,
temp dialogue?
pal?
What happened there? Let's listen to that again. That was exciting.
Don't you think that's funny?
What happened to your sense
Oh,
of humor,
weird.
old pal?
I don't know. I'm really curious to find out.
Lieutenant, I want to ask you something. It may trouble you.
Ask away, sir. I can take it. I've got a strong stomach, nerves of steel, bowels of brass.
Bowels of brass.
Suck at it, son. This is important. Have any of your friends seemed a bit firm lately?
Firm?
Ew, ick. You mean like non-squishy and non-slimy?
That's right. Come closer. I've recently become suspicious that humans might try to infiltrate us.
No!
Though basically stupid, they can...
See, like, what kind of visual acuity do tentacles have? They don't seem to have eyeballs. Yeah, maybe that's why they don't recognize that Laverne has feet. Out we go. Nearly at the end. These little mushroom plants down here are cool. Alright. Let's get some of that in there.
This ought to be good.
Oh, they don't? I've never talked to... Well, I have talked to them, but I never really noticed that they think she's a tentacle. While we're out here, let's put that extension cable down.
Well, what do we have here? Looks like a prosthetic rodent. Another specimen.
And since we can, I mean... Let's just give Laverne back the scalpel, right? Would you like to use the scalpel on things, Laverne?
No, I've grown attached to the cute little guy. Maybe later.
We haven't thawed out the hamster yet either. Should probably do that. Let's go do that now. Futuristic microwave time!
Gosh, I hope this isn't like the primitive, dangerous microwave ovens of my century.
But coming back to the different, like the different flavor of the code across the different eras, like it really is a reflection of how, I mean, they're not necessarily that way just because of people changing how they program things over time. They really are different mostly because different people just had different styles of coding and different styles of thinking about and solving problems. And when you're working on a port, like a Linux port, especially one that's done post-release, it's really your job to kind of adapt to different people's programming styles and try and make sure that you work in with those. If you want to go in and refactor everything. I thought you could pick up the sweater without opening the thing. Oh, it's all good. But yeah, if you want to refactor everything, then the chances of you breaking stuff is just so high. Ideally, you want to have as little impact as possible. So you gotta like learn to think like the people who made the code that you're working with, and learn to code like them as well. So it's an interesting challenge from that perspective. Let's get that on there.
This ought to warm him up.
Nice.
Say, cutie, what brings a hot tentacle babe like you to a dump
hot
like
tentacle
this?
babe. Yeah.
I'm here to see you, big boy.
Really? Well, what are you doing for dinner? How about Club Tentacle? Oh, what am I saying? I can't afford to take out the trash, let alone a classy babe like you.
Yeah, the washing machine room stays the way it is forever.
Don't you recognize me?
No, Hey, aren't you the waitress from Club Tentacle? I love that place. I'd be there right now if I weren't flat broke.
So is he like, has he been to Club Tentacle before? Or does he just hang outside and look at the waitresses?
I don't want to be here either.
Here you go.
No, this has to be special.
Oh, come on.
Whoa! Dinner for two at Club Tentacle? I can't wait to tell my wife.
Be free!
You're free!
Free to do what?
Free to run wild through the woods like humans should.
Big deal.
I said you're free. Now get off your fat, lazy butts and start enjoying it.
Enjoy being hunted for the rest of our lives by that mustached old tentacle with a big net? If we ran off, he'd be right on our trail. If we stay here, we know we'll be warm and comfortable. Outside, we'd be eating bugs and moss.
You'll be eating my fist in a second.
The woods are filled with wild animals, lions, tigers, and skunks.
Skunks!
Skunks.
Alright, here's your skunk.
Hey, look, a skunk.
I always forget about this top shot of the futuristic mansion.
Come back here, you mangy humans! You can't do this! This is an escape-proof facility!
Who says you can't learn anything from cartoons, eh, kitty?
Alright, let's try and do some nonsense.
I think I've had enough fun with Mr. Kitty.
Can we do anything cool? Is that missing line? Goodness. But no, the best line is this one.
Now I am the jailer, and you kitty, are my prisoner.
Awesome. Alright, we're nearly there. Oh, we can use the fork on the cat? Let's do that then. You can be free, cat.
I think I've had enough fun with Mr. Kitty.
Nothing exciting. Yeah, I could go through and just listen to all the dialogue lines and or look at the scum code and work out when they're called and stuff, but it's kind of more interesting to like just fish through and be thorough and discover it in game, I think. Going. Alright, here we go. I never got that this was meant to be a hamster wheel. Like, I never really sort of pegged that for me. Oh, so you have to use the fork on the cat while it's still in your inventory? Nah. I think the time machine is in pretty good nick considering it's 200 years. Time to do something that only works in cartoons. And yeah, like as far as the Linux version goes, as far as the release goes, I mean, we've had fewer support requests than any other game that I've been involved with. Yeah, it's been pretty good. We've had a few issues. So far, everything that we're aware of is either a upstream library or a bug in a dependency. Stuff that's kind of outside the scope of what we're doing. Stuff that's a little bit beyond what I can fix, and in all cases that we've discovered so far. The user updating a package or slightly changing their configuration is enough to get them sorted. So there haven't really been any kind of showstoppers or blockers really that we've encountered. I'm still gonna try and do a patch. We're still weighing up whether or not that's gonna happen. But yeah, there are a couple of small things that I'd like to try and address and make the experience a bit nicer or more solid for people, but we'll see how things go. yeah, very very happy with how things have turned out so far.
Couch Potato Shopping Channel, Wanda speaking.
I want to buy a diamond.
That will be $2 million. Do you have a major credit card?
I have a numbered Swiss bank account.
What's the number, sir?
Gorgeous. Phone bit is so slow.
It's 846-427-35327.
Except for that number was fast.
Sir, we'll send the diamond by pronto post lightspeed delivery immediately. Thank you for calling.
Bing bong.
Now that's service.
And again, you know, like kind of learning from how things worked in some of those early adventure games. You're not doing any of this backtracking manually. It understands that there's really only the one goal for the player. There's not much value in exploring space that you've already explored, so we'll just tell it in the cutscene. Automatically transport you to where you need to be.
It was donated by a group of Girl Scouts who were in the neighborhood.
How heartwarming. According to my instruments, everything is in readiness. Your friends have activated their units, so it's time to throw the switch.
Throw the cheese!
Great!
Woo!
Hoagie! I'm so happy to...
Hi!
Laverne! Wow! I'm so glad you two made it back okay.
I hate to interrupt, but there's no time to lose. Now that you're back, we've got to proceed with the original plan and send you back to yesterday to turn off the Sludge-O-Matic.
Huh?
Say what?
Now hold on a minute, Dr. Fred. They just barely made it back to our time alive, and I think...
Ha ha! You
Who
can't
knows?
turn off the machine if I get there first.
Uh-oh.
Don't worry, guys. This time I know I can stop him.
I think Green's confidence there.
Uh-oh. I guess we better do something.
Let's go.
No, wait! You can't all go in the same stall.
Haven't you seen the fly?
Didn't you see the fly?
I like that sets us up to just assume that they've been mangled.
We're some kind of monster, dudes.
Great. Stuck here the rest of my life, listening to Bernard talking and watching Hoagie eat. Mom warned me there'd be days like this.
Now, wait just a minute.
Oh hey, Nemoder wanted to know what the help wanted sign looked like in the past, in the old graphics. So let's bring up that old graphics and check it out.
What?
There it is.
I believe he's trying to warn you about me.
Oh.
We're going to turn off the Sludge-O-Matic and defeat your evil plan, overgrown worm.
You sorry lot are no match for me.
But there's 3 of us. Well, sort of.
Nevertheless, I mean to crush you.
Yeah?
You and what army?
Why, this army, of course.
All the tentacles.
Yikes.
You see, I've been busy. These are all versions of myself from the future. I've been bringing them back here using the Chronojon. Together, we will conquer the world. You 10 there. Go to the basement and guard the Sludge-O-Matic.
Yeah, I totally believe that. Bum, 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 bum.
No one is to touch the Sludge-O-Matic. Now, creature, I must decide what excruciating tortures to leave them to me.
I just feel like some of these cuts where characters interrupt each other, they could be a little bit tighter.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me. Us.
Because usually when someone interrupts someone, this like people talk over each other for a tiny bit.
All right, the rest of you come with me.
And nobody really seems to do that much in games. Not really sure why.
Now?
Whoa.
It wears off.
It's kind of convenient. Sort of Monkey Island-esque final sequence where
Run for it.
the enemy has some kind of super weapon that can incapacitate you. You just gotta work around it.
The battery must not have had time to recharge, but it
Does that control the speed of the voices or the speed of the cutscenes? Huh. Interesting.
Shh. Maybe he won't find us.
You, where are you, human?
Oh yeah, maybe the subtitles is like subtitle speed is impacting on things. I like completely had no awareness that I still had cutscenes on.
Aha!
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
Take that.
And this is a lot simpler than Monkey Island 2's ending.
This. Drat. Blasted useless paperweight.
I think the Three Blind Mice cue there, musical cue, might be a bit of a hint about what you have to do. Metal Mel.
Neat.
Neat!
Powerful looking speaker.
Yeah, let's turn the music on.
Wow. This is loud. Whew.
Alright, here we go. This is an achievement for leaving that stereo on in the past. Which when I'm playing on my own I usually do, because it's fun.
Where'd he go?
Ah, get out of here. And now the finale! Whatever could we need to do here? I kind of wish you controlled this a little bit, like that you had some kind of control over the guidance, but I guess it probably wouldn't be that great if you missed. Like, what would you do?
Turn off the machine and prevent all this tentacle
How would you sort that
mayhem
out
from
for the
ever
player?
happening.
Yeah, I kind of prefer all the old music myself. I just enjoy it a bit more.
Well, I'm certainly glad that's over.
The new stuff's, I mean, the new stuff's good.
Let's get out of here.
It's not bad. I just enjoy the old stuff
We haven't
more.
had the chance to get to know one another.
And so there we go. Like, this has been quite a big journey for me to go from being someone who kind of loved the game back in the 90s when I first played it, to being someone who was, just looking forward to the Linux version coming out, to being someone who was going to just loosely be involved on the side, and then ending up being the person that was going to do the port. So it's all up. It was quite a big thing,
Just what is it you have against humans anyway?
Humans are our oppressors. They made us live in this horrible motel. They created us
I like that living in the motel.
so we couldn't
That's his thing. Like, it's the root of his anger. It's like maybe if they sent him to the Bahamas, he'd be happy.
Sounds like that's all Dr.
It's kind of cool to end on a dialogue puzzle as well. I really like
I
that.
suppose you're right about that. I didn't start out hating all humans, just Dr. Fred.
Yeah, pretty handy with the ray gun.
Center of the forehead every time. Would you like a demonstration?
Why don't you zap Dr. Fred if you hate him so much?
Perhaps
Right.
that would
So,
be
if the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection, there's something a little bit wrong with how this plays out.
Oh, drat.
Surely we can talk this out.
Talk?
Surely.
Wait,
I think it's Hoagie's arm on both sides.
I'll be back, and the next time, the world and all its piffling inhabitants shall be mine. All mine. All mine.
Okay, little fella. Mail this to Siberia.
Ah, and happiness and sunshine and butterfly. Butterflies come out of there.
Our work here is done. Now we can go home.
So chronologically, the game finishes in the past. You've gone back to yesterday to turn off the sludge.
It's been more fun than a jumpsuit full of weasels.
Maybe. I mean, maybe at this point you've gone back to the present. I don't know. I guess it's night time, so maybe you have.
Get us out of this mess. We look terrible. And we
It's
can't
interesting
buy
that the
clothes off
flyer is gone and the help wanted sign is there.
I'm getting sort of used to it. Maybe we could go on the talk show circuit.
Oh yeah, the X-ray's a bit exciting
Help
in
us,
general.
Dr. Edison. You're our only hope.
Oh, all right.
Nice Star Wars reference there. Oh yeah. There's no feet from Hoagie.
Idiots! It seems you're not exactly the sideshow attraction you imagined. You're just three complete goofballs stuck in one suit of clothes.
Yeah, when I first played it, I always thought that Bernard was old. That was why he always bent so high.
Well, I'm glad that's taken care of. Looks like everything's back to normal.
The end! So if all of the future tentacles disappeared, where did the diagrams for the tentacle that we use as a template for the flag come from? Wouldn't that have reset as well? I like the continuity as this kind of fluid thing. Or yeah. Yeah, they reuse Bernard's sprite for all of the clerks and the convenience stores in Sam & Max. It's pretty cool. So this is the original credits for the game. The credits for the special edition, or remastered edition, which include me, are hiding in the main menu in the options. So if you're looking for those, that's where to find them. I love this shot as well. It's a really cool sunset lighting on the clouds. So a very, very big thank you to everybody at Double Fine who was so nice while I was working on the game. I didn't feel any pressure from them at all. They were all very happy to work with me at whatever, or for me to work at whatever time frame I wanted, and we're all happy to be excited about any progress that I reported. Like, everybody was really positive and upbeat. And even when I was like, hey, I got these problems and I'm working through, no progress to report today. People were still sort of like, yeah, that's all good. You're still going well. This is all normal. Yeah, I felt very looked after. And especially Oliver Franske, who was the lead programmer on this, and also worked on the Monkey Island special editions at LucasArts. He was super helpful, and always willing to have a chat about anything in the code that I wasn't sure on, so it was great to have a resource in the form of somebody who was familiar with the code base, who could, if it takes me 2 days to learn something versus something that I can find out from 20 minutes of conversation, then that's better for everyone. But yeah, it was really good to have those resources available. And there were Trevor from Shiny Shoe as well, who also worked on the special edition here. He was pretty helpful. And just everybody was really nice. But yeah, so that's going to be the end of the stream here. I don't know how much exciting stuff I talked about across there, but thanks to everybody who was listening and joined in. I saw that there were a few more people than participated in the chat, and Bim has just passed me a coloured version of this a Laverne as a penguin thing. Let me just switch across so I can see what's going on in the camera. Look at that! How cool is that? It's fantastic. Ooh. That's brilliant. Oh, and it's a purple penguin. Nice. That is great. Well done. Yeah. If you pick up the game, I hope that you enjoy it. If you don't pick up the game, that's totally fine too. Either way, it's been great to work on and great to share with all the Linux users out there who haven't really had access to this game. I mean, an actual sold version of this game that you can buy that is supported on Linux. You can still run it in ScumVM, the original version, and that's totally cool as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye. I'm just waffling now. If somebody want to let me know when I'm clear, when I'm all good to end the stream, because I don't want to end it prematurely. That would be great. Doo-doo-doo. Let's get back to the menu. Dig that menu. Alright, Syd says I'm good. Syd says I'm good, that's the main thing. Have fun, people. I'm going to end the stream here. I'm probably going to start streaming again for anybody who's excited by that. Just streaming daily challenges of bits and pieces. Probably starting next week, so if that's exciting, keep an eye out for that. Anyway, have fun. Goodbye!